Hi everyone, it's Miss Jan from the Woodlands Children's Museum. Welcome to Shadow Puppet Theater. Shadow puppetry is an ancient art form that goes back over 2,000 years, started in China and India. And we love doing shadow puppetry at the Children's Museum. The story I picked today is, so before we get started, I need you to say hi to my cameraman and puppeteer. Oh my goodness, I'm not sure what that is, but that's Mr. Ron. So he's going to help me. I think that's a bunny. He's having fun with this. Okay, are you ready? This story is A Frog in the Bog by Karma Wilson. There's a frog on the log in the middle of the bog. A small green frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. He flicks one tick as it creeps up a stick. One tick in the belly of a small green frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. He sees two fleas as they leap through the reeds. One tick, two fleas in the belly of the frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. He spies three flies as they buzz through the skies. One tick, two fleas, three flies, oh my! In the belly of the frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. The frog grows a little bit bigger. He glugs four slugs as they slink through the sludge. One tick, two fleas, three flies, oh my! Four slugs, ew, ugh! In the belly of the frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. He inhales five snails from their heads to their tails. One tick, two fleas, three flies, oh my! Four slugs, ooh, ugh! And five slimy snails in the belly of the frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. What a hog, that frog! And the frog grows a little bit bigger. Then that log with the frog in the middle of the bog starts to rise, and the frog sees eyes! And the frog sees claws and a big set of jaws and a mouth like a crater, and the frog screams, "Gator!" Oh my goodness. With his mouth open wide, all the bugs inside start to crawl and fly and to slither and slide. Out come five snails from their heads to their tails. And four slugs, ew, ugh, 3 flies. Oh my! Buzz, 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 buzz. And 2 fleas. Dear me! And 1 tiny tick. Ick! And right in the middle of his hollow, that frog grows a whole lot smaller. See you later, says the gator as he romps through the swamp, 'cause the itty-bitty frog isn't big enough to jump. Now, the bugs in the bog keep away from the frog, and the frog never sits on a half-sunken log. There once was a city without gardens or trees or greenery of any kind. Most people spent their time indoors. As you can imagine, it was a very dreary place. However, there was one boy who loved being outside. Even on drizzly days, while everyone else stayed inside, you could always find Liam happily splashing through his neighborhood. Oh, it's fun splashing in puddles, isn't it? It was on one such morning that Liam made several surprising discoveries. He was wandering around the old railway, as he did from time to time, when he stumbled upon a dark stairwell leading up to the tracks. The railway had stopped working ages ago, and since Liam had always wanted to explore the tracks, there was only one thing for the curious boy to do. Liam ran up the stairs. Pushed open the door and stepped out onto the railway. The first thing he saw was a lonely patch of color. Wildflowers and plants were the last things he had expected to find up there. But when he took a closer look, it became clear that the plants were dying. They needed a gardener. Liam may not have been a gardener, but he knew that he could help. So he returned to the railway the very next day and got to work. The flowers nearly drowned, and he had a few pruning problems. Pruning is when you cut back the dead parts of the plant so they'll grow better. But do you know what? The plants patiently waited while Liam found better ways of gardening. As the weeks rolled by, Liam began to feel like a real gardener, and the plants began to feel like a real garden. Most gardens stay in one place, but this was no ordinary garden. With miles of open railway ahead of it, the garden was growing restless. It wanted to explore. The tough little weeds and mosses were the first to move. They popped up farther and farther down the tracks and were closely followed by the more delicate plants. Over the next few months, Liam and the curious garden explored every corner of the railway. After spending with the garden, Liam's time on the railway was finally interrupted by winter. heavy blankets of snow fell on the city that season. And for the first time since he'd become a gardener, Liam plants. Rather than waste his winter worrying about the garden, Liam spent it preparing for spring. After 3 cold months, the snow finally began to melt, and Liam rolled his new gardening gear over to the railway. Winter had taken a toll on the garden. Thanks to Liam's planning, his handy new tools, and a little help from the sun, the plants soon awoke from their winter sleep. The garden had always wanted to explore the rest of the city, and that spring it was finally ready to make its move. Once again, the tough little weeds and mosses set out first. They popped up farther and farther from the railway and were closely followed by the more delicate plants. The garden was especially curious about old, forgotten things. Can you tell what that is? That's an old car that somebody just left out there. The flowers like growing in it. A few plants popped up where they didn't belong. Others mysteriously popped up all at once. But the most surprising things that popped up were the new gardeners. Many years later, the entire city had blossomed, but of all the new gardens, Liam's favorite was where it all began.